Hey everyone, it's Alexander Robinson. Welcome to the channel. This is my review for Knock at the Cabin, which is the latest movie directed by M. Night Shyamalan. The movie focuses on a young girl and her two parents who are staying out at this cabin in the middle of the woods, when out of nowhere, a couple of strangers, led by Dave Bautista, break into the cabin and hold the family hostage. But there doesn't seem to be any prejudice from this group towards the parents, who happen to be two gay men. Instead, Dave Bautista pretty much says, your family will have to make a sacrifice because you are very loving towards each other, and this is all to stop the apocalypse. And anybody with a brain would think these are just a bunch of cult members. They're crazy, they don't know what they're talking about. But when a series of natural disasters starts being reported, one after the other, suddenly the couple starts to second guess this theory on, wait, maybe these guys are onto something. First of all, before we get into the actual meat of the review, I want to apologize for being MIA for over 2 weeks. I'm just starting to get really used to my new position at work, and I just now have a more normal work schedule where I have specific days off that are continuous throughout the week. I'm no longer in the zone of, oh, I'm gonna work in the afternoon and get home really late, only to go to work the very next day early in the morning. So I'm just kind of getting used to a more consistent groove at work. So I do apologize for just being absent on YouTube. But now I'm back. I haven't seen many new releases in terms of 2023, which I'm a little embarrassed by. So I feel like this might be the best new release to talk about after a 2.5 week hiatus. And M. Night Shyamalan's recent movies have not really been working for me. Ever since he revitalized his career with The Visit, Split was just okay, Glass was terrible, and Old was hilarious. I didn't think it was a good movie at all. It had some interesting ideas, but I found it more funny than scary. Knock at the Cabin is actually a pretty good movie. I think in this new era of Shyamalan, it's his best movie since The Visit, and there's a lot to admire about it. It definitely had a very creepy atmosphere throughout. Whether it was the group of people that break into this cabin and hold the family hostage, or all the really weird things that are happening in the outside world that might bring the apocalypse. So it left me feeling really uneasy throughout, and I didn't think there were many parts of the movie that were unintentionally funny like in Old. And the person that certainly helps with this level of creepiness and uncertainty is Dave Bautista. He has really proven himself to be the best wrestler turned actor, because we've got Dwayne Johnson, who's pretty much Arnold Schwarzenegger. He does a bunch of action movies, he's a tough guy. John Cena is mostly good at comedies, although certain parts in Peacemaker has shown that under the right direction he can do drama. Dave Bautista has shown to be talented in all sorts of categories. He can do comedy well, like in Guardians of the Galaxy. He does drama really well, like in his brief role in Blade Runner. And he just does a really good job in most of the movies that he's in. And his performance in Knock at the Cabin is excellent. You really buy into the fact that this guy is sincere about the apocalypse. And if he's not, if he really has some homophobic qualities to him and is holding this group hostage because of hatred or some sort of cult, he does a good job at hiding that fact. So he was great. And that really goes for a lot of the other members of this group. You have no idea if these people are just legit crazy or if they're really sincere in trying to save the world, even if their method and their theory on how to save the world is a really tough decision for this family. I will say, however, that one of the members of this group is played by Rupert Grint, and I thought he was probably the loosest cannon of them all. You definitely felt more sincerity from everyone else, but Rupert Grint just seemed to be the actual crazy guy. And if I had any issues with the movie, it's that he can't seem to decide if he's sticking with his regular British accent or if he's trying to do an American accent. He's just kind of all over the place, but he's not in the movie for very long. It was good to see him again because in a movie, I haven't seen him since Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2, so it was nice to see him back in a movie again. Now, as for the other side, the parents and the little girl, they are really good as well. Kristen Cui plays the little girl Wen, and she's really good, probably one of the better child actors I've seen in a while. And Jonathan Groff and Ben Aldridge are really intense as the two dads. No matter how many times this group tries to convince the couple that the apocalypse is really coming and these disasters will destroy the world and wipe out humanity, Andrew is convinced that they are crazy and that they are manipulating them. Whereas Eric, progressively throughout the movie, thinks maybe they're right. So seeing that dynamic back and forth and watching this couple eventually make a really tough decision had me on the edge of my seat. I will admit that the actual conclusion to where the couple realizes that these cataclysmic events aren't just a coincidence is a little silly. And I say a little because the actual conclusion of the movie hit me hard. I don't know if it was because I recently saw Last of Us Episode 3 before seeing this movie, but with both that and this, it made me kind of think back hard on what would I do for people that I legitimately cared about? Would I ultimately make a difficult decision just for their behalf? So it had me thinking about that when I walked out of the movie. And I think at the end of the day, that is a win. So Knock at the Cabin, it's not a great movie by any means, but for what it is, it does its job really well. It's got some terrific performances, some intense moments throughout. The cinematography is mostly good, and I say that because there's still a lot of those awkward shots where the actors look dead into the camera that M. Night is known for, and I kind of wish he'd cut that out because it makes what's supposed to be an intense scene a little silly. But at the end of the day, I'd say the movie is good, but not great. It was enjoyable for what it was, but nothing too memorable. I liked it, and definitely his best movie since The Visit. And there you go, that's my review for Knock at the Cabin. I hope you enjoyed it, and now I want to know what you guys think about the movie. If you've seen it, what did you think? Whatever the case may be, let me know in the comments below. You can also like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell button to get notifications. Don't forget to follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd. I'll see you guys in the next video, but until then, have a good day and take care of yourselves.